Were we really going to have a retrograde moment?
Well, it is retrograde. Hello, everyone.
Thought we were having a little retrograde moment there for just a second. It is retrograde. We're Tiff and Jack, by the way. Oh, here, let's turn us down. There we go. So we're Tiff and Jack. We are the owners of Thought Tracks Coaching and Healing. We are the founders and creators of Empath Rise and Thrive, the group coaching and spiritual healing program. We are the hosts of this, the Energized Empath live show and the Tiff and Jack Show podcast. And we are damn happy to be here with you today.
Hi, everyone.
Our whole goal is to help you get fast, measurable relief as an empath because you need it. Because you're managing a whole bunch of energy that other people, 80% of the population doesn't. And when you start knowing how to manage your energy and feel better and get through retrograde without having it take you out, life feels so much better. Today is all about retrograde because we are squarely heading dead on into it. I believe March. Good Lord, time is passing. It is May
29th.
Today's the 27th of May.
Yeah. So the day after tomorrow is when retrograde is like fully retro.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
I'm glad we're talking about this today because there's a lot of myths out there, some misconceptions. It's funny, I'd say miscommunication because it's the communication planet. So Mercury. It really affects us.
Mercury. Yeah.
Is there anything? Oh, go ahead.
No. So give us a shout out where you are watching from.
Because we might have some retrograde talk.
Let us know where you're joining us from because that is just so much fun. And we are all over the place. We are live streaming. Hello to you on YouTube. Hello to you on Facebook. We're all around. We're on Tiff's page. We're on my page.
Hello,
we're on the
Connected Empath.
We're so glad to be here. Hi, Leanne. Hi, Carrie, Bev, Belinda. Hi, guys. Hi, Adam. We're so glad you're all here. Thank you for being here with us today. Today is retrograde survival tips or guide for the empath. Because you as an empath feel everything more.
Yeah. So let's talk about that, shall we? As an empath or a highly sensitive person, and again, I'm just going to throw it out there just so that people understand. A highly sensitive person senses energy. Empaths absorb energy. It's just a really quick reminder. So we are all of us as highly sensitive people, very influenced by cosmic changes. Why? Everyone really is, but empaths feel it more because they have more body awareness typically than a lot of people around them. When Mercury retrograde comes in, it's a pretty big deal, but let's just talk about the last couple of days. Okay,
I started feeling this in the beginning of pre-shadow, which is how long
we'll talk about that.
Holy crap. It was huge. My dreams go crazy.
They do.
Okay. I already am an overactive dreamer. Literally.
Oh my goodness. Isn't that
literally and truly. But when it's retrograde, I wake up so exhausted from my dreams. I'm so busy all night long, trying to save my life, trying to save other people's lives. Everyone's dying left and right.
Didn't you just have like a dream about our son Boyce?
Oh yeah. We had an earthquake. I watched the buildings all fall down and our son had no shoes. And I was so hell-bent on getting shoes for him in my dream. Okay, in my dream. This is all a dream. And I was searching. And then I found this pile of stuff that was our stuff. It belonged to Tiff and I, and somebody else was like trying to take it. So I scooped it all up. And I'm gathering it up. They wanted to fight me for it.
Oh, honey, that's just terrible. You wake up exhausted during retrograde.
I do.
Stuff.
I really do wake up pretty tired. But so yeah, that's kind of giving away the retrograde talk. Right out of the gate. We have people here with us from England.
Hello.
So happy you're here. Manchester, Pennsylvania, Utah. Very cool.
Nice.
Very cool. Welcome.
Well, my friends, let's delve into the delicious topic of Mercury retrograde. Many people wonder what retrograde is all about. If you've never even heard of it before, you just may notice that you feel kind of wonky for a few weeks, a few times a year. But empaths typically pick it up pretty quickly. So I'm just trying to think of where to start with Mercury retrograde. One thing that...
talk about what it is.
Well, I will, but one thing I want to share is that empaths or highly sensitive people are really sensitive to the rhythms and changes of the seasons, to the cosmos, to all kinds of things. So once you recognize that, you'll probably be able to tell it's Mercury retrograde before you know if it is for sure or not. I get so many messages. It's like, what is going on cosmically? Now, I'm not into astrology too much. I'm a numerologist. So I kind of go from that angle, but I'm very, very focused on Mercury retrograde because Mercury retrograde is the communications planet. It's the mind planet. So it kind of guides us on how we talk, how we write, how we express ourselves, how we learn, all kinds of things. It's kind of in charge of our intellectual process. So as it changes by the electromagnetic shifts, because we're all electromagnetic, the cosmos is electromagnetic. So why wouldn't it change the way that we experience life? I mean, seriously, the last 2 days. So last night was a lunar eclipse. Midnight the night before, we were in the supermoon. How many of you could feel some intense stuff during the last few days?
What do you mean by stuff?
Well, it depends.
Energy
Everybody's
or-
different. So you'll know what I mean. So intense stuff like any kind of emotions or fatigue, headaches, body aches, all kinds of stuff was happening, right? And so I'd love to hear what some of you were experiencing.
Definitely feeling exhausted, Bev said.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, really tired, needing extra sleep.
Yep. So would you like to hear my experience?
Yes.
One day, well, it was not yesterday, it was the day before. I was so tired. I couldn't believe it. I came downstairs from our bedroom. I probably slept. I couldn't sleep the night before. Came downstairs. I was sitting in my underwear on the couch, literally all day, and I was too tired to actually get up and shower. So I was just eating treats, popcorn. I tried a little chocolate crackers. I'm like, oh, this is too sweet. It's making me feel gross. So I just had popcorn and just ate a bunch of popcorn through the day and just sat there. And I'm like, what is going on? But my emotions were so wild. I had so many emotions all at once. I was like feeling probably 100 emotions at one time all day. And I just thought this has got to be the full moon, the super moon, and the eclipse coming. And I am highly, highly affected by the cosmos and how it shifts and changes. It doesn't mean my life is horrific every time, but it does mean that I do notice. Do you notice?
Yes, and I want to share a little bit of what our watchers are saying. Tired and moody. I felt ornery and argumentative, tired, and I wake up and I can't sleep. I hate this.
Oh, I thought they said I felt horny and argumentative.
Ornery. Ornery. That's how you spell it, ornery.
I'm like, awesome.
Leanne said, wondering if this is why I have had a headache for the last 2 weeks.
Uh-huh.
Hospital couldn't find anything wrong. Well, we're not doctors.
Yep. We can't tell you,
you're
but
an
we can say it's possible.
It is possible. Tired and mad.
Yeah.
Boy, doesn't that sum it up?
Yep. A little irritability.
Tired and mad. I've definitely been feeling it. So this morning I got up early to go out for a walk. And I'm out walking, felt like crap. I just felt like emotional dog crap.
You did.
Yes.
I'm so glad I stayed in
I
bed.
know. Trying to get, to figure out what the F is going on with me. And I'm like, well, it is retrograde and it is this, and it's got the full moon. And I just felt mad. Tired and mad. And so I started having a little chit chat with my angels. Yeah, I know I've talked about my angels, and I'm going to keep talking about my angels because I like my angels. And I just said, hey, here's the deal. I feel like crap. And I'd really like to have some peace. I'd like to have a feeling of anticipation and joy, looking forward to the day. And I shit you not, within just a couple seconds, it literally felt like a cloud had been lifted up off of my head.
That's nice.
Everything looked better. I'm like, whoa. Did something.
That was nice.
It was amazing.
Thank you, angels.
So it's just a little reminder. Like, your angels are here to help you too. And if you're like, poof, there's no such thing as angels. Like, what the hell have you got to lose? You might as well give it a whirl. and choose to believe in your angels. Ask for them to help you feel better, help you have peace, whatever it is, a good parking spot, whatever, and see what happens.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So last night I went to bed, I think around 10:30, woke up at 12:30, and I felt so sick to my stomach and had so much body pain. I was like, what in the hell is going on? And I could not go back to sleep until 6:30 this morning. So I just spent time studying more retrograde stuff so I could share it with you today. And I went back to sleep at 6:30 and then only slept till 8:30. And then I was up again and I'm like, let's just get on and take on the day. It's just crazy. It really does disrupt a lot of things in the body, but there's a bunch of myths out there. One of the big ones that we deal with is, and I hear people say this a lot, that if you have a positive attitude, retrograde will not affect you. Yeah, that isn't actually accurate. A positive mental attitude, a good mindset is always an empowering and powerful thing to have, no matter what you're going through. It always aids and always assists and helps you move through life in a much more positive way. But if you really understand the cosmos and the electromagnetics of everything, it all influences each other. So, when you go through retrograde, and depending on when you were born and where retrograde is, where Mercury is, what zodiac it's in, up in the cosmos, will definitely impact you more or less. So sometimes you're going to feel amazing. And sometimes you're going to have a really hard time. And then sometimes you'll feel amazing some days and have a hard time on other days. It kind of goes in an ebb and a flow. So people are like, oh, I've just felt so great and I just have a positive mindset. And I'm like, it's great that you feel positive, but it's probably not just about your mindset. That being said, again, I'll share, mindset is always important. I mean, we're all about mindset, Jack and I, and it's an important thing to have, but you will be affected by the shifts and changes of the cosmos because the electromagnetic, it changes. And so your body responds to it. So sometimes it's going to be easier than others. And, you might have a really great retrograde this time. And the next time it's like, I'm not feeling great. I feel horrible. It all passes. But what Jack and I truly believe is that Mercury retrograde is here to give us an opportunity to clear things rapidly and to come out on the other side in a better way. And I really, really do believe that. Let me tell you a little bit what happens. So Mercury is the closest planet to the sun. And it goes around the sun 4 times in 1 year, where the Earth goes around once in 1 year. Okay, so it's moving quite rapidly around the sun. But when it gets to a certain point, and Earth is moving faster than Mercury retrograde, and some people say, oh, it stops and goes backwards, and that's why we have such hard things to deal with. It doesn't really go backwards. It's just an optical illusion. I don't know if you've ever, and maybe you've had this experience. I remember when I was little,
Definitely.
I'd be driving on the freeway with my mom, and the train would be next to the freeway going slower than we were going, but we were going faster, but it looked like the train was going backwards. Have you ever had that experience?
Definitely.
Isn't that weird?
Mm-hmm.
It's just an optical illusion. And that's what happens when we get close to retrograde, as it's going around the sun like this 4 times faster than the Earth, but the Earth is faster. So when we're right next to it, it actually appears to be going backwards. The reason we're so affected by it is that it's very intense energy when we get close to Mercury, and that's when it goes retrograde. That's what we call retrograde. So because it affects our thinking, and our communication and things like that, we'll notice that those things will kind of be compromised a little bit and slow down. So how would you describe the way you feel typically when it's Mercury retrograde?
I feel flat. I feel pretty apathetic. I don't have the excitement and anticipation for all the awesome things that are coming. I feel just a little disconnected from everything. I feel a little heavier, a little more negative. You and I get in like so many more little miscommunications about everything.
Totally true.
Never are on the same page when it comes to meaning what the other person is hearing. It's like, wow. But we know going into retrograde, hey, we're going into retrograde, like give a little bit more benefit of the doubt. Like we're going to say and hear things that aren't real.
Yes. So it does affect communication, not just within human beings, but within technology. How many of you have had all kinds of weird technology issues? It interferes
so
with
bad.
technology.
This one, especially when the pre-shadow started coming in, I think are you going to talk about
Yeah,
the pre and post?
I am.
When the pre-shadow started coming in, it was a hefty deal. Whew. All of my technology has been acting up. So my computer it'll have problems and restart itself more often. My phone, like you'll open an app and it's not working, or you'll have a blank screen.
Yeah.
You find yourself having to turn your electronics off and on a lot. Be really patient and double check when you're scheduling things. I've had a couple of double booked appointments, and
yeah, we'll be talking about that,
awesome.
Going into detail about those kinds of things. So a lot of people just refuse to believe that Mercury retrograde is something to think about, and that's totally fine. If people don't want to think about it, they don't have to think about it. But many of us, especially highly sensitive people, are very affected by it. So we feel tired, we have miscommunications, we can feel depressed, anxious, headaches, all kinds of things can be happening in our body. And it's like, what is going on?
And I think there's a lot of power in understanding that this is really happening.
Yeah.
So you don't feel crazy and you don't feel like you're at the mercy, like it's a shit show and that you got the short end of the stick of life.
Yeah.
That you're getting beaten down. It's just one of those times. And you're going to talk about, I know, why it's so important and the good that comes out of it. But.
Yeah. So before Mercury retrograde itself, there's a pre-shadow and a post-shadow, or an echo. And I just want to share with you a little bit about the pre-shadow. So the pre-shadow is kind of when the Earth is coming up on Mercury. Okay. It's moving. We're feeling that energy just going, woo, this is really getting intense. And sometimes it can feel more intense than retrograde itself. Typically it does. And we've been in that for a couple of weeks, and it's typically a couple of weeks before retrograde. And then we have the post shadow, or the echo, a couple weeks after. So it's a pretty long process, but what they really say, and actually I'm teaching you things from this book. You can get this book, the Mercury Retrograde book. It's fantastic.
By Yasmin Boland and Kim Farnell.
Yeah, thank you. It has so much great information to really help you understand Mercury retrograde better. When I saw this book, I'm like, I am buying that, because we talk about it all the time with our empaths, because empaths are so sensitive to the shifts and changes of all kinds of things. So the post or the pre-shadow is kind of helping you get prepared for the shifts and changes that will come in Mercury retrograde. And then the post-shadow, or the echo, is kind of the resolution of the things that came up during retrograde. So it's really a beautiful gift that we're given from the universe to work through some things at a pretty quick rate. And how many times do we have Mercury retrograde every year? Typically 3, sometimes 4. And we always have it in our calendar because it's when our clients don't show up for their session because they're like, did I schedule something? We always know, we can see the patterns with our business of how it affects the people in our business. So we know, we give a little bit of leeway during that time because people are having all kinds of glitches happening. Okay. So now let's talk about some of the things that are associated with it. So your gadgets, we've already talked about that. Your gadgets can stop working. I work a lot of time with Voxer. It's an app that I use to do my healing work and things with clients all over the planet. And it always gets glitches during this time. And it drives me crazy. So we just have to be really patient. It's totally okay. It typically goes away right after retrograde is over. Sometimes you can't find things or you lose things. Things just disappear. Do you ever have that experience?
More like files on my computer.
Right.
More than items.
Yeah. And it's important for you to read the small print when you're purchasing something or signing a contract during this time. Because when Mercury retrograde, because the intensity of Mercury kind of affects our thought processes, not kind of, it actually does. So we can get kind of forgetful and not look at things or see certain things. So double check things often, okay? You can buy something expensive and find out somewhere else that it's half price somewhere. It's just kind of like those weird things that happen of like, why did I do that? Okay, I have a big list here of just interesting things. You can be very forgetful. So like you can make appointments and totally forget, or you can make appointments in your phone and it just kind of disappears.
And Jen, when you say buying a house and scheduled to close right in the middle of retrograde, yikes. Just reread.
Yeah, just
it's gonna
reread
be
everything.
okay,
Yeah.
but just be mindful and reread and reread.
Yeah, just reread, look at the fine print, all of that. Okay. Okay, here's some awesome things that happened during retrograde. How many of you have had people from the past pop up?
That's a big one.
Right?
Yes, it is.
It's like, wow, someone from high school just reached out. Oftentimes, you're going to be hitting things that need you to re-look at things. So you'll notice that people come in. I'm going to skip over to something that I just feel like is really great. Okay, one thing not to do is don't assume that everything's going to go to shit because it's retrograde. It's easy to do because we've had those shitty times, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So don't assume. Sometimes things will work in your favor, actually, and it will be a really great experience. How many of you have had a retrograde where you feel really enlightened, very energized, and feel fantastic? Sometimes we get to have those experiences. When retrograde brings up old issues to the surface, remember, it can be used as a time, it can be used as an opportunity to tidy up things that are not yet finished. So it will bring up old stuff. There's no question about it. Also, your clearing work. Have you noticed? Woo!
That's the time to do your inner work, clear your limiting beliefs because you can see them easier. It's kind of like PMS for you, right? Being serious. Like I'm not saying that.
It's true.
I'm being serious. Like it's a great opportunity to see what's going on in your subconscious mind.
Right. Okay. So this is what I want to share with you is the best way to take advantage of Mercury retrograde, is to focus on the prefix re. So renew, review, reflect, revise, revamp, repair, rethink, refrain, research, revisit, re-recognize. And let's just go over those a little bit. So it's a time of renewal. So you can renew things in your life at this time. And this is a lay low time. This is, we always kind of lay low during this time.
Yeah, we literally make a pact to not take things too seriously.
Right before retrograde, I'm like, do you think we'll get in a fight this time? Or do you think we'll be able to like get
so
past it?
Our biggest fights have happened during retrograde. Let's be honest.
Yeah. And we call it retro rage.
Retro rage.
Not retrograde. Oh, we're moving into retro rage. Mercury retro rage. Okay. This is a time to review things that are not yet finished, to kind of re-look at things. It's also the one that I pay attention to the most is to reflect on things. This is a time where I slow down. And if I'm I get kind of weird feelings about stuff, or I'll get insecurities that I never feel.
I think that is a huge one. Insecurities about yourself and about other people.
Totally.
Nobody likes you. Like,
yeah.
Everyone thinks you're this and that.
Yeah.
You feel like
you're never going to succeed.
Nobody wants you.
Yeah. And it's a time to reflect and kind of take a look. Is this true? Is this not true? That type of thing. I'm going to go to the next note. Okay. It's a great time to repair things in your house.
Really?
Yeah. I was reading about that.
How fascinating.
Because it says it's easy to be lazy about repairs, but the small leak can lead to a major problem. So it's a good time to get things fixed, not just in your house.
That's awesome. In your brain.
In your brain, in your relationships.
That's really good to know.
How many of you have gotten in arguments or fights with people that never ever happens, but it happens during retrograde? How many? Go ahead and let us know.
And then you find out afterwards that you were both on the same page the whole time.
It was a misunderstanding.
Just a total misunderstanding.
Okay. So reconnect. This is where you can reconnect with friends and relatives, and it can be a really positive side of Mercury retrograde. I've had some people come out of the woodwork that I haven't talked to for years during retrograde, and it's just been really, really great connection and communication and kind of resolving some things from the past or just talking them out so you get some closure. So it's a really great time to do that.
Deborah, yes, my husband last night.
Yep. Whew. We did really good over the weekend and last night.
Yeah, we have done pretty good.
So
Fingers crossed.
yeah, but you got home today and you didn't act the usual way about my hair that you do, and it made me mad.
Oh my God. And I think her hair looks amazing.
Whatever.
Amazing.
You hate it.
And it's just because it takes me a second. She parted it on the other side. And I'm so used to looking at her.
I know this is so stupid and petty.
It can be seems so it was just like, so I'm like trying to adjust.
And I just said, I just know.
She goes, I know you hate it.
I know you hate it.
I know you hate it. I'm like, that's not
And I'm like, I
true.
really love it today, so I don't care if you hate it. But
you did. You did care because
no, I don't.
And I didn't hate it.
So these are the kinds of little
Welcome
things.
to Retrograde.
Yeah, but we kind of laughed it off because we just know what's going on.
And then she's saying, he goes, I know I'm being a nerd. And
no, I said, I know I'm a brat and I want things my way.
And I said, then she started getting mad about it after she was like, I know I'm a brat. Then she starts getting worked up about it again. And I said, well, that kind of negates the apology. And she said, I didn't apologize.
I'm like, oh yeah, you're right.
You didn't apologize. This is Retrograde.
Yeah, totally. Okay, here's some do's and don'ts. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. Read everything at least twice. So Jen, that's for you.
Oh my God. In text messages, like just know probably what seems like someone's being sassy or rude. They probably aren't. Just saying.
Yeah. Okay. Don't sign documents without reading the small print. So Jen, this is the don't side of it. Okay. Okay. Another do, regenerate existing agreements. Who cares about that one? But don't make
Tiff doesn't.
I don't care about that one. So. Okay. Don't make new agreements or life-altering decisions. So it's absolutely set in stone.
Don't decide to break up unless you've been working towards it for a long, long time, and it's like something you've been thinking about.
I would even just say,
give it a couple weeks.
Yeah, kind of hold off on major life decisions during this time because you can get into altercations or fights or upsetness, and it's like it's over, and you can feel things so extreme. It is nuts sometimes. I know you know what I'm talking about. Okay. Got to get my readers on. Expect delays or even cancellations when traveling.
Yes.
This is very, very common. You might not be able to avoid traveling, so allow some extra time to, deal with things if they come up. Don't travel without a backup plan and check everything in advance. That's just a great way to make your
really
life
good
a little
advice.
bit easier,
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay, allow plenty of time to deal with possible delays with appointments and reconfirm details before you move forward. Okay, this is just kind of paying a little bit more attention to things, a little bit more attention to details and revisiting and rethinking about things. Okay, just because things just get a little crazy. Okay, renew your... Okay, we're not doing that one either. Oh, here's an interesting one. During retrograde is a really great time to return to a course of study that you have not completed, because this is a time where you can complete some things. This really is a time where you can complete some things that aren't finished.
And the amazing thing to realize is that the energy is supporting you to do that,
mm-hmm.
right? The energy of this time is literally supporting you to tie up loose ends, complete things that are uncompleted, work on your limiting beliefs that you've been believing about yourself forever, and let go of those, make that shift and get out of those. Isn't that nice? It makes it easier.
Yeah.
Oh, Nat. Every retrograde, I have very vivid dreams of my husband cheating on me, and I wake up wanting to punch him in the face.
Thank you for your vulnerability and sharing, because you are not the only one that experiences that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Keep your mobile phone charged and also back up your data every day.
Oh, Carla said, wow. So I should take the tests I've been putting off. Yes.
Yes.
You
It's
should.
a great time. It's a great time to do it. Get together with old friends and expect to hear from some of them. They'll always pop up during retrograde. It's just so fun to get together. Okay.
Or you reach out to somebody you've been wanting to get in touch with.
Yeah, that's also something to pay attention to, because you can get a feeling of like, hey,
Yeah.
and I do that every retrograde. I've noticed.
I know.
I just reached out to someone when I couldn't sleep last night, and I'm like,
Right.
hey, you just popped in my mind.
And it opens the channels.
Mhm.
So it's going to be an easier time reconnecting.
Okay, pause and breathe before you speak or give a presentation. Just kind of get in the zone. Today, I feel a little loose-ended with this live, but I'm like, hey,
It's retrograde and we're going to get our way through it. We got this. We're all feeling the same way, feeling the love.
Yes. So more than anything, this is about you paying attention to how you feel and recognizing sometimes you're going to feel good. Sometimes you're not going to feel so good. Sometimes it'll go back and forth, and that's normal. And to kind of pay attention to the details and double check things. Give yourself a pass and the people that you love, because sometimes you're going to say things or do things that you'll either misunderstand or you'll be misunderstood. This is all very normal. And with your technology, just you can talk
really
about
seek
it.
First to understand. I would say this is specifically about text messaging on technology. Don't like if sometimes your text won't go through and you think they got the text and you're so pissed because you're not hearing back. That is classic retrograde.
Yeah.
As far as technology and computers going down, programs not opening, things not recording when it says they're recording, that's where you get to just chalk it up to like, well, you know what? Do the best you can. Give yourself a break. Just like Tiff was saying, give yourself a little extra time to do everything. Try not to push yourself right up to the deadline wall. Give yourself a little extra time for the miscommunications that are happening. I think there's so much power and understanding about retrograde, taking in what it is, you know, the possibilities. Yeah, there's a lot of things that make it feel like a pain in the ass and like, oh my God, I wish there wasn't a retrograde, but literally look at the good things that are happening too. It allows us to tie up our loose ends. It allows us to see with clearer eyes our limiting beliefs, and our limiting beliefs are very hidden. They live in our unconscious mind. So we don't really see what we're believing about ourselves till we're triggered.
Right.
Well, retrograde, what I find and what I've noticed is it actually brings it up to see it without necessarily having to have that hard hit against the head.
Right.
It's just more clear and more present. So as you go into retrograde, it's like, ooh, okay, this is awesome. This is an opportunity for me.
Right.
Whatever it is that is the most important thing for me to clear in my life so I can move forward in my dreams and my goals. And, you know, we all have goals and we want that job, that promotion. We want to make more money. We want to reach out and connect with more people. We want more likes on our Facebook shit, whatever it is. So as we're in that process, retrograde gives you an opportunity to see the insecurities that are coming up for you, right?
Yep. And it's a clearing process for sure.
And I really do believe that insecurity is a really big part of retrograde. It kind of peels off our external facade, not facade, but that face that we show, and we're left just in our raw form. Kind of feels like you're naked on the freeway, like standing on the side of the freeway.
God, that would be a disaster.
Cars are driving by.
Hi, everyone.
That's how it feels to yourself. Right? There's no hiding from yourself.
Right.
During retrograde.
Yeah.
And that can be a gift and a curse.
And again, just a reminder, the pre-shadow is typically worse than retrograde itself. And the post-shadow is the kind of the cleanup time where you just get everything kind of cleaned up and then back into normal life. There are two other retrogrades going on at the same time, but they don't have the same intensity as Mercury. And it's because Mercury is the mind planet. So it affects our thinking and our processing. Literally. And our expressing.
Like Carla said, our call got dropped yesterday and my husband thought I hung up on him.
Right.
Then he tried to clarify via text and misinterpreted what I had said.
Yes, that's retrograde.
Classic. That's what's going on.
Yeah.
So before you jump down someone's throat, or if someone's jumping down your throat, let's say, hey, seek first to understand. and then to be understood, and you'll get to the bottom of it very, very quickly.
Yeah. This is also where you can have lots of great conversations, while be it very intense, typically. You can get to some really great resolution with
Definitely.
things and tie up those loose ends, like we have said about 15 times.
And like in relationship, that's such a great thing to do. This is a perfect time to come together and say, hey, you know, what would you like to see different in our relationship? What's something that we've been working towards that we haven't been able to achieve? Let's put our heads together and see if we can come up with a new solution.
Yeah.
Why not use retrograde to your advantage?
And that's what this book is about. Again, it's the Retrograde book. This will give you so much information about your zodiac sign. And right now, I believe that this is Gemini, that Mercury is in Gemini this time. So if your sign is Gemini, you could have more intense effects or less intense effects.
Better.
You know what I mean? So this will just give you information on all those things. And then it also goes to 2028 and gives you the dates of all the retrogrades right here. It's really just a great thing. And as an empath,
I was just going to say that.
Yeah, as an empath, it's important for you to kind of keep track of these things because they typically will really affect you. And again, remember, having a positive mindset is really important, but it's not going to prevent you from being affected by retrograde.
Right. And just because you're having a really hard time and someone else is having an easy time
doesn't mean you're doing something wrong.
Doesn't mean you're doing something wrong.
Right.
And if you're having a really easy time and you're judging the people that are having a hard time,
knock it off. Because next time we'll probably bust your balls.
Yeah.
Okay.
Allison is a Gemini. Allison, how is this retrograde for you?
How's it been for you? Are you feeling the bliss feelings?
Oh, Nat and George. They're both Geminis.
Ooh.
Fun. That's exciting. Sue,
how are you guys?
Sue, the book is called The Mercury Retrograde Book.
Yeah, I'll just...
And the book is by Yasmin Boland and Kim Farnell. The Mercury Retrograde Book.
Yep.
It's a really pretty little book.
Yeah. Hay House published it a few years back. And the second I saw it, I'm like, I'm getting that book because I've really tried to understand Mercury retrograde because I've been deeply affected by Mercury retrograde. And I've really wanted to understand it. And the more knowledge and awareness you have, the easier it is to navigate it and have a really great experience when you're not having like the emotional, deep, upset stuff coming to the surface.
Nancy's a Gemini too, which can explain a few things, right, Nancy?
Oh yeah, Nancy.
Right. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, my daughter, sister, mother, and
wow,
father-in-law are all Geminis.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah. I think last time's was Leo, and Jack and I are both Leos, and I think we got hit pretty good with it.
Ooh. Whoa.
We're still married.
Wow.
We are still married.
Yeah.
So we made it.
We've had our biggest biggies during retrograde for sure.
That's when we have our biggest misunderstandings. And I get so feisty sometimes.
I feel like we're just so mature now that that's never going to happen again.
Well, let's hang on to that positive mindset. Because
now that we got your hair all worked out, everything's okay with that now.
Whatever.
Oh my God. Look at all the Geminis.
Wow, guys.
Wow. Geminis are awesome.
Okay, what did Nat say? We've been so good, but he's at his grandparents right now. Well, that's the way to do it.
Already had a snippy moment last night over miscommunication.
Totally.
Yeah, it's all about that. It's all about that. So hopefully, Nancy, we crack ourselves up. So we're glad we crack you up.
Jack cracks me up a lot.
Oh my God. We just want you to know that you're not alone during this Mercury retrograde and you're not crazy. You're not losing your mind. It's just going on and everything's okay. You know, really knowing about it is going to be super helpful. Double check everything that you're going to sign. That's okay.
Yeah.
Don't break it during retrograde.
Jen, read all the small print, read it twice, really good, get really focused, take a deep breath, and you'll be great with buying your house. And congratulations.
Okay. I find it so fascinating that like, it looks like almost everyone here is a Gemini or very closely in relation to Geminis. And if this retrograde isn't Gemini, it would make so much sense that we would have a whole bunch of Geminis or people that know Geminis on here going, what the F is going on?
Yeah. And this one, listen, guys.
Emmy, our grandchild is a Gemini.
How is she doing,
yeah,
Vic?
Right.
Oh, I need to hug and kiss her. also keep in mind, we just had a massive supermoon and a lunar eclipse last night as we're moving into the pre-shadow, going right into retrograde. So it's been a little like, a little tricky for most of us. So go easy with yourself, lay low a little bit, take some time. This does not last. I mean, it'll be done the 20.
Way too long to talk about.
No.
Whew, it's
It's
the
June.
29th. It's like 3 full weeks.
Yeah, that's about normal. 3 weeks for retrograde. So June 22nd. Great.
Okay, listen, this is so interesting. Victoria is telling us that our granddaughter has been taking naps. Okay, this little girl does not nap. So
No.
if that doesn't tell you, you have permission to take a nap because you're going to be extra tired. Retrograde is going to make you tired. Do not beat yourself up. Lay down, put your feet up, scroll through Reddit, kick back, eat your pretzels, drink a beer.
Pretzels and beer. Where did that come from? I'm like, have
I
an
don't know.
Oreo cookie, not a pretzel.
Tiff is Oreo cookies and wine.
Yeah.
And
Oreo cookies and red wine.
yeah.
That
And-
is a yummy combo. Forget the milk, folks. Get the red wine.
Oh my
Dip, dip, dip.
God. Nat slept over 10 hours last night.
Yes.
Holy shit. And it's not just Geminis. Here we have a Taurus, Zadora's a Taurus, Belinda's a Taurus. We had a Cancer. Okay. It's not just Geminis, but we're all in this together.
Yes, we are.
You're not alone.
And just because you're not a Gemini doesn't mean you won't be affected.
Oh, no.
So sometimes you can just have more extreme effects on either side of the fence when it matches the. Yeah. You know what I'm saying,
tons
right?
of exhaustion. Carrie is a Sagittarius.
Mm.
Very, 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 very cool. So here we all are coming from all different zodiac signs, and we're all in retrograde together.
Yep.
Having our experience. Exhaustion obviously is coming up for lots of people. Tons of miscommunication. It's okay. We're going to get through this. We're going to find our way through it. Get those loose ends tied up. Reach out to people that you haven't talked to in a long, long time. Take everything with a grain of salt. Seek first to understand before being understood. And have a snack. It'll probably help.
Oreos.
Thank you so much for being here.
Yes.
Get some rest.
I'm going to. I'm a little sleepy.
I'm going to
Since
go
I
back
didn't-
to work.
Maybe I can talk you into staying home.
You probably could. Thank you for being here with us. We love you very, very much. If you are not a member, if you're an empath or a highly sensitive person, please come and join us in our Connected Empath Facebook group. That is our big invite. That's where we get to wrap you up and snuggle you to death.
And support
life.
Support the crap out of you.
Yeah. So come
Yeah.
join us there. Thank you for being here.
We'll
We
see you next
appreciate
week,
it.
guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.